welcome everyone to our regular meeting of the Summers County Board of Education. For the record, let the roll call show that there are 3 board members present, with Mr. Angel and Ms. Farley unable to attend. And at this time, Mr. Burton is right here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda and adjustments.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as read.
I'll second.
We have a motion on the floor from Mr. Bergen, seconded by Mrs. Harvey. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Let the record reflect by a 3-0 vote. Motion carries. Move on to item 4, student achievement balance scorecard.
Mrs. Jones is going to present information about the balance scorecard.
The balance scorecard was released, I think it was around the 17th or so of September. This is a public website that you can go to. We're gonna select this year to look at. And then we can choose our district, our county. You can tell I'm not used to using a Chromebook. It's too far down.
Use that side into the little bars.
Down button on the right.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, did. Can you start to type Summers and see if it? Yeah, I'll just do that. This is terrible. It's okay.
Getting closer?
Yep. Should have had it already picked up. I wouldn't have to worry about it. Yay, we finally got it. Okay, this will show a lot of information about our county, but we wanted to go down and let you look at, the different categories that the balance scorecard shows us. On the side, there's some helpful information. There is a 32-page methodology on how the state gets the percentages for each one of the categories on the report card. I won't go into all that because it's like 32 pages and we'd be here all night. If we look at academic achievement, I wanted to tell each of you what the categories were. The academic achievement is how the students performed on the summative assessment, the alternative summative assessment, and the SAT. The academic progress measures the students' test this year and 1 year back. So the academic progress, they want us to be moving toward these long-term goals. As of right now, we don't have any English learners. Student success, the attendance rate, it's based on how many, the percentage of students that you have that are there 90% of the year. And then behavior, that is counted as the percentage of students who have had no out-of-school suspensions. So we're doing really well with behavior. And then at the bottom, the high schools, academic achievement would be the same. The graduation cohort is if we have students on the right path graduating with their cohort that they should be graduating with, and we're doing a good job there. And then the student success is, of course, the attendance. On track to graduate is where they look at the 10th grade students and see if they have the amount of credits, and they're on track to graduate. But that's your 10th grade students. And then the post-secondary achievement is looking back at our 12th graders that graduated last year and to see if they entered straight into the career field, went to college or a trade school, or went into service. So we are doing well tracking those kids. I wanted to go over how we compare this year to last year. We are moving upward. I know we still have a lot of red and some yellow, but we are moving in the right direction.
Ms. Jones, so if I remember correctly, reading these bars, like, as the bars grow in color
Yes.
and lessen in color, that means it's starting to move away from does not meet standards towards the partially meet standard, correct?
Right. The visual helps us see that the closer it is to the right of the block, the closer you are to moving into the next category. So like for our red up on academic achievement, especially the elementary, we're pretty close to moving into the partially meet standard. So that is a good visual. I'm just gonna go over district. I won't do individual schools, but you can drill down to the school level. In the ELA assessment performance value, we grew from last year, district-wide, 3.2%. That's for ELA. For math performance, we grew 2.8%. And then the progress, where they measure multiple years of testing, we grew 10.9%. In ELA, and in math, we were just 0.6%, but we did grow. And they're counting growth. Each one of these categories on the test also has increments, like 3 different steps. It's like a ladder. So even if they're still does not meet standards, they could be on the bottom rung, but then they could have moved up 1 increment within that. So they do count that as growth as well. Our attendance, we were in the good 1.5% growth. Our discipline in that column, we want close to 100%. Most of our schools are, and we are getting closer. We grew 3.4% for discipline. The graduation rate for 4-year is 5.3% growth. The 5-year is 6.9% growth. And our post-secondary is 21.9% growth.
What was that?
The post-secondary value is 21.9%.
We'll be on track there.
We have to go back and put all of this information on Weavis, so the principals, counselors, we reach out to the students if we don't know. a lot of our students request transcripts, so we know where those kids are going. And lots of times we have to reach out to them or to their guardian.
The special ed graduate, students who graduated who had an IEP, they have a survey. So our goal is to get 100% of those surveys back, but that's to the state, but we get the data, we get the information.
Another important thing I'd like to share with you on the sidebar, I won't bring it up because it does show the schools, but over here on identified schools, that's where you will see the schools that have been designated comprehensive school improvement schools. As of today, the list showing on this website is 2025 list, and Summers County has no schools on that list. You have to be in the bottom 5% performance to be on that list. So that is another win for our county, our teachers and students. So we're not identified this year. And I put some information in your folders too. It's basically what I went over here. Do you have any questions?
I know you all work very hard to move the needle, and I know this is not where we wanna be, but this is good to see that positive momentum.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Item number 5, presentations. Troy Bowden.
Everybody has, the blue sheet, and this is just some things that, I sat down and thought that we were doing, this year. Ms. Jones told me when I did the presentation that I can include both Jumping Branch and Talkett, since I am at those schools. So, when you talk about absences, and that's our big thing, attendance is the way to go. And she talked about how we were growing some in attendance, but I thought it was important to look back, to where we were. So in the first year that I started in 2021, our chronic absent rate at Jumping Branch was 52%, and at Talkett it was 46%. For this past school year, Jumping Branch is down to 23%, and Talkett was at 25%. So it's almost half of what it was 4 years ago, when communities and schools started. Our goals for this year, is to have Jumping Branch at 21%. That's still gonna leave us in the red. However, if you set a goal that's higher than like 2%, you're probably not gonna reach that, because 2% in attendance is a lot. And then our goal at Talkett is 23%. Currently, as of today, Jumping Branch has a 14% chronic absent rate, and Talkett has a 19%. So if we use the data, as of today, and we project it toward the end of the school year, if this were the last day of school, Jumping Branch would be at 17%, and Talkett would be at 21%. And both of those numbers are well below, even our goal, because our goal was, 23 for Jumping Branch, and it would be 17, and Talkett 25, and it would be 21. So I think it's important, even though those numbers are still gonna place us in the red, it's important to look how far we've come. I mean, because that's a big jump from 52%, to 21. And hopefully those numbers are gonna get better. Right now, a lot of the numbers are, from parents that decide they still need to go to vacation in, early September, last part of August. So some of those kids racked up 5 or 6 days absent then, and right now, to be chronically absent, you can only miss 4. So really it's 3.6, but I rounded up to 4. So, I think we're coming, in the right direction. And then our attendance rate at Jumping Branch is 96%, and at Talkett is 94%. So the attendance rate is really high. And it's hard to compare like the chronic absences with the attendance rate, because you look at that and say, or 96 or 94% of the kids are coming to school, which is really great, but some of them are missing more than 10% of those days, and that makes your chronic absence rate go up. So some things that we have done, and this includes both schools, is at the end of the year, I received a grant from Dollar General. It was a $2,500 literacy grant. And so with that, you were able to purchase books and provide incentives for the children. So we had 3 book distributions during the summer. One was the last day of school in June. In July, we had a family event at the school. And so all the kids that showed up got a free book, a new book that they didn't have to return, they could keep. So we did this three different times. And then in August, we had a family water slide event. So we took books to the water slide, and kids were able to select books once again. And then we gave out books at open house, and then the ones that were left over, we gave to the classroom teachers to use in their classroom libraries, and the kids could take home from there. So in some of those pictures, I don't know if you see like a little bingo card. I think Mr. McBride has it right now. That is what we based our summer reading program on, and it was called Oh the Places You Can Read. And kids on the bingo card were asked to read in different places. So it might be at the beach, under a table with their pet. So they took pictures and then sent those in over the summer. And then at Jumping Branch, we have that bulletin board with all those pictures from the kids and their reading. During open house, school supplies were distributed to all of the students. So if they didn't come to open house, they were given those supplies during that first week of school. So all of the kids had new markers, crayons, colored pencils, notebooks, backpacks, and all of those things. I met with Loaves and Fishes, and we had a partnership meeting to discuss the services offered by both them and us. So we're able to refer families to both places. I always distribute information to families on Facebook and Class Dojo about our local food banks. It's important that we support families in providing them with food, but we're not always going to be there. So it's really important for them to learn where they can get those resources and not to rely solely on the school for that. So I always be sure that they know when the distributions are at the Lifeline Church, Helpful Harvest, Loaves and Fishes, and Reach. And Reach has started doing like a meal of the month. So they have like one day, in addition to their food bank, that they can go and just pick up a certain meal that they advertise. So all of those are found on the Facebook page at Jumping Branch and Class Dojo at Talkit. I attended a training on parentguidance.org and staffguidance.org and shared that information with the principals. And that's just a really cool website sponsored by the Cook Center. It's free to every family in West Virginia. And if parents have a question, they can just go to parentguidance.org, and it's almost like an AI thing, but it's an actual person who is certified in that field, and you can ask it a question, and they'll give you a response. So I just tried to see what it would look like. And my question was, what do I do with a 4-year-old child screaming in the lunchroom? And it came back and said, well, you need to see first what their frustration is, and then maybe isolate them for a period of time and bring them back with the group. So it gives you step-by-step instructions on possible things that you can do, and you can ask it any question. So staff can use it as well as parents. I also, let's skip down a little bit. On Saturday, was at the Youth Football League game, and they were kind enough to do a canned food drive for us instead of taking up gate admission. And during that time, I also distributed that information on the parentguidance.org to the parents that came through there. Also did a presentation at Central Baptist Church, and they are going to partner with communities and schools to help provide the Thanksgiving meals for students and their families. I have purchased items for one family that was identified in the McKinney-Vento Act. And then, so far, in both schools, we have given out 126 yummy bags. That is in coordination with the First United Methodist Church. I assisted a parent in obtaining some medical documentation that their child needed so that they could receive their medication at school. I was talking to her about the child had a dental issue, and I was talking to her about that. And she said, you know, I can't get the doctor to send me the documentation so that he can have his medication at school. I said, well, do you mind if I call? And she's like, no, and gave me, you know, the number to the office and told me who to talk to. And so I made a call, they faxed the information to the board office, and within like a day, that child was able to have his medication at school. There is a student's mother who asked me, she said, hey, you don't know, she said, I really need a house. You don't know of anything, do you? And this also happened with a staff person. So within the past 2 weeks, that student's family and staff person are now in a new rental each. So that was kind of cool. And we purchased.
Your duties are,
Yeah, it's just whatever you need. You know, I'll do your laundry. I haven't done any laundry yet this year, but if you need laundry done, I'll take care of that too. I purchased breakfast and dinner items that children can prepare. That was one family. This little girl came in and she said, she was crying when she came in. She said, I just don't know what to do. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what to do? And she said, well, my dad's been busy. He works a lot, but we just don't have money. It was towards the end of the month. And she said, I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. And I was like, okay, so what do you like? And so it was like sandwich items. She said apples. That was her big thing. She said, we would like to have some apples, and so I got cereal and milk and some peanut butter and bread and lunch meat and cheese, things that the kids could have when they're at home. We had a little girl who was struggling. She didn't want to, when they first came to school, she didn't want to do her assessment testing, and we kept talking to her. It was like, what is wrong? She said, well, I can't see it. So why can't you see it? And she said, well, I don't have any glasses. Did you have glasses? Yes. And so called mom, and mom said, well, she had some, but her brother broke them, so he's a special needs student. And she said, insurance won't allow me to go back and get another pair right now. I said, is it okay if I call the optometrist's office and see if we can get a new set of glasses? And she was like, sure. So I was able to acquire a new pair of glasses for her with the criteria that they say at school. So she comes in the morning, goes to the teacher's aide, gets her glasses, and then returns them to the aide at the end of the day, so that they don't go home and they're broken by the sibling, and she can see while she's at school. Last week, Studio M provided haircuts for 4 students, and I think I have another student that's getting ready to get a gift certificate to actually go to the salon. She's older, and our agreement was if she could miss no more than 2 days until September the 30th, she could go to Studio M and get her haircut. She's missed 1, so hopefully she can hang on until next week and get her haircut. I've had lunch with 20 students in my office, and then 73 items from the clothing pantries have been distributed, and kids don't come to school on their birthday, so it's another day that they miss. So now we have a birthday incentive. So if you come on your birthday, you get this cute little birthday cup, and down in there is like a little cute little pin-like thing. It's not a lot, but they all already want it. This little girl stopped by the other day, and she said, hey, there's this little boy that rides the bus with me. Today is his birthday. Can I take him? One of his birthday gifts. So, and then I had some students up here actually help me put these together. So everybody's real excited about it, and they can't wait until their birthday to get their cup, but you have to come to school on that day. We also have planned October 24th is the trunk or treat here, and October 25th is the trunk or treat for Reach. So that is this year in a nutshell. Does anybody have any questions?
I just love your problem solving.
Well, vacation,
Right.
the rate can get better.
Right.
Because those are kids that
If they don't
probably
miss any
aren't
more
gonna
school.
miss
Yeah.
that much more, and so they'll get kicked out of that, category. So the more, but if they miss 6 days, they have to come 61 days for them not to be considered chronically absent.
Yeah, okay, I'll make it, thank
So
you.
the second 9 weeks, someone can drop off.
Well, and really bad things can happen the last 2 weeks of school too, because
Come out
after
in 26
testing,
again.
and that's something that we might need to think about. That's another big vacation kind of time, and people think that school is over. And, there's a field trip this day, but there's not the next day, so we stay home, and then we come back for the fun day, and then, you can get really messed up that last 2 weeks of school.
Good incentive for that time of year.
It would have to be a really.
You would have.
It was, it's like, what, they've done the first thing they've done, and it's like, they're finished. So now what are we gonna do to keep you for those last 2 weeks?
I'm gonna have to pass out $50 bills.
That'll work. Thank you, Mrs. Ford. All right. Moving on to item 6, public comments. Do you have any? Approval of minutes. Superintendent recommends approval of the following minutes: September 11th, 2025 regular meeting.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from the September 11th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Harvey, seconded by Mr. Brogan, to accept the superintendent's recommendation. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Let the record reflect by 3-0 vote. Motion carries. Item 8, approval of the bills.
Make a motion that we pay the bills.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Harvey and seconded by Mr. Brogan to pay the bills. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, let the record reflect by 3-0 vote. Motion carries. Moving on to item 9, new business. Approved purchases over $25,000. None. It's a good thing. Item 9B, discussion, possible action to place policies out for public comment.
I'll make a motion that we put policy 6-H-4, discussion possible.
Excellent.
Criteria for the successful completion of graduation requirements out for public comment.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Bergen and a second by Ms. Harvey to put this policy out for public comment. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, let the record reflect by 3-0 vote. Motion carries. Item 9C, out-of-state overnight trips.
We have none at this time.
Item 9D, discussion, possible action to approve E-rate consulting agreement renewal.
And this is it's the same as the original contract, it's a little over.
Make a motion that we accept the MOU, or that we renew the MOU contract with the educational funding group.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Harvey and a second by Mr. Bergen to approve this, agreement renewal with E-rate consulting. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Let the record reflect by 3-0 vote, the motion carries. Now, item 9E, discussion regarding May 2026 levy.
Mr. Angel came into my office, and I took some notes, so he said that I could share them here since he's not here tonight. Just that there's a primary in May, and you can run the levy on the those elections every 2 years. By end of January, the due date is in February, but last time we had it, the levy order was done by the end of January, so that's kind of a goal. He had we talked about some possibilities for prior to the levy order. Perhaps a board member could each attend a faculty senate meeting. The next ones are on October 10th. And ask the faculty senates and the bus garage, what are the school people willing to support? Maybe have a set list of questions that wherever you go, you're asking the same questions no matter what school you're at. He thought about 4 community meetings before the levy order. What would the community support? Perhaps at the fire departments, for the elementaries, maybe the memorial building, fire departments. Possibly at a tailgate, and I know one's coming up this Friday, but to maybe have like an index card vote where the community could vote, maybe have 5 things on it. For example, resource officer, transporting athletes, those kinds of things, or even, I won't vote for a levy, but given a vote. So it's a quick kind of survey kind of a thing. And then his other idea was to maybe, if you all thought, get someone in the community to chair the committee like we did the last time. So that's what he wanted me to share with you, so.
I think too, we can maybe, with the community meetings, maybe tie those to the PTO or LSIC meetings. Since they're just feedback seeking and not campaigning.
Any thoughts?
I sure want one to happen. But I gave it a pretty good shot last time. I'm not gonna lie, it deflated me. If everybody can get behind it and push, I'll be there.
I feel the same way. We came pretty close, closer than we